I chose Nevada first because you actually lose all your ammo and I think all your health except for one small medipack as well. If you do the Nevada level, so we've got 16 shotgun shells, 2 Uzi clips, 6 MP5 clips, 1 grenade, 12 harpoons, 31 flares, 2 large medipacks, and 6 small ones. Not that we have like a whole big amount, but this is just after 4 levels, which was the ones in India. But if I had chosen other locations first and then do Nevada, I would have way more than that and I would lose all of that. So that's why I use Nevada first. You don't have to. If you don't mind um, losing all that ammo and all that kind of stuff, then leave Nevada till second or last if you like. I do it first to get it out of the way. And once I've done that, once I've done these levels, which I don't know if I'll get it done in this stream, but then again, I said that I probably wouldn't get through all the India levels in one stream in the first part, and I did. So you never know sometimes. But we're up to the Nevada levels, and when I finish those, the other two places, London or the South Pacific Islands, I'm actually going to have a channel point redeem that will be active for the first person who's quick enough to redeem it to actually decide between those two places, London or the South Pacific Islands. And then, obviously, whichever of those two wins, the other automatically is what happens next. So the option to choose which of the two I'll do next after Nevada is completely up to the person that redeems the channel point reward. It's not actually active right now. I definitely will give a bit of a heads up before I actually activate that. But if I do get through the Nevada levels in this stream, then before I start or before I end this stream, I would be sure to do that channel point redeem, and then when it's redeemed, choose whichever gets chosen through that. But let us begin the Nevada levels and see how we do today in this second stream. Hey there, Schiller. Welcome, dude. I am doing good. Things are going well, thank you. I finished off the first 4 levels in the previous stream. I wasn't expecting to, but it was good to get that done in one stream. Then I could move on to the next sections. You have to lurk because of work, but enjoy your stream. Thank you so very much. I definitely will. Thank you so much for stopping in, especially too that you're at work. I hope that work goes well, Schiller, and that you have a good day. Hey there, Caleb. How's things going today? Welcome on in. Would like to highly recommend people check out Schiller Lock's channel if you haven't before. He's going to be doing a playthrough of The Casting of Frank Stone, which is a game by the same people behind Until Dawn, the Dark Pictures series of games, and The Quarry. And it's set in the Dead by Daylight universe. He's also a big fan of the Dark Pictures series. He finished a marathon playthrough of those. And he's also a fan of the Mafia series as well. A great streamer with some chill vibes, so definitely recommend checking out if you haven't before. Caleb, you're alright. You're just wide awake at 4 a.m. here, like usual. Still early days, 4 a.m. or late, depending. You know, if you're waking up at that point, it's very early. But if you're still been awake since earlier than that, then it's pretty late. I'm glad to hear that you're doing all right. That's awesome. Not worried about getting the secrets, so there might be some that I get because I forget where they all are, and sometimes I accidentally come across them. Oh well, Caleb. So you've been awake since like maybe 7 a.m. yesterday. Very long amount of time then. Yeah, in a few hours it'll be 24 hours. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's funny sometimes when I've stayed up for like 24 hours or a little bit more. Sometimes when I wake up the next time, it feels like I had a hangover, even though I haven't been doing any drinking as well. Dr. Darling Rod sleeps. I never sleep. I just wait in the shadows, and I will stream for you all, everyone who joined the stream that day, whatever time it might be. No. How's it going, Dr. Darling? Welcome on in. Caleb, yeah, that's how you feel like it feels like exactly. After like being awake more than 12 hours or for you, it's like you're so tired after that point. You're just a night owl type. I don't blame you. I'm definitely the same too. And so much so where it can be like my body is tired, my mind is saying go to sleep, but I'm like, no. I don't want to yet. Having too much fun. Yeah, Dr. Darling. Yeah, just started the Nevada levels. I was actually surprised I got through the India levels in one stream because I was thinking it might take a bit longer. But to be fair, there is a whole section in one of the levels where it only takes a long time if you want to get all the pickups, all the items and secrets and all that kind of stuff. Caleb, that's the exact same with you. You live in Nevada. Oh, wow. So in this game, in this part of the game, we get to go to Area 51. Oh yeah, Sheila, that's no worries at all, dude. Always more than happy to give you a shout out. I'm hoping that that game is good too, the casting of Frank Stone, because I really do like Supermassive and their stuff a lot. For me, there hasn't really been any game that I would say I absolutely hate this and I'm never playing it ever again. Haven't reached that level with any of their games as yet. Hey there, Wayne. Welcome. Welcome back to another stream. The last one that they made was 2018, but they have been working on one since then. But there's been a few things that have changed because of the company that was making them being bought, and then um, certain changes made and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there is one that is in development at the moment, but I'm not sure when that will come out yet. Caleb, Area 51 is 80 plus miles from where you are. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. You know, to be so close relatively. I mean, it's not like it's a 5 minute trip, but um, there's so many things like being in another country that you see in movies and stuff, and you hear about different places. But I've never actually been to the US anywhere at all there, so a lot of the stuff that I've seen is either in documentaries or in movies and stuff. And obviously, when I look at a movie set somewhere, regardless of where it is, I don't take that to be 100% accurate representation of everything about a place, and things like that. But it is interesting when they do use certain real locations as stuff for even, like completely fictionalized versions of stuff. Absolutely, Nagasuki, I am back indeed. And it was good. I had a good break, thank you. It was good to also get the first 4 levels done. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but got through those. And of the 3 locations that you get to choose, I decided to choose. I decided to go to Nevada first because there is a point where you actually lose all the weapons that you might have collected. Caleb, yeah, supposedly you think ET Highway is part of the whole interstates around you since you're in Moapa outside of Vegas. Oh yeah, yeah, because there's also a lot of like obviously the big name places that get used have heard of those, but I imagine too there's a lot of really smaller places in between that span so much space as well. Yes, finally got it. After a few attempts. Okay, Libya, there's smaller towns like literally nothing even smaller than here in Moapa, that it was like a ghost town driving that way. Summer gets crazy heat here. Max during July, August every year is like 120 at the highest point, and lowest would be like 90 to 100. You're finally waiting for next season to come along. I really do hate the heat. I don't mind it when it's warm, but when it gets so hot that it starts to affect not just the actual temperature you're feeling, but also concentration, being comfortable, and just being agitated, just creates all those sorts of things. So I definitely prefer it when it's colder as well. But that definitely sounds like, some crazy temps and stuff like that. I'm not sure what it would be translated into Celsius, but when we get things like the 40 degrees Celsius and all that kind of stuff, it gets really, really crazy. Caleb, yeah, when it's like 70 to 90, it's okay. When it drags higher is when roads and everything else is near melting hot. Winter there, lowest will usually go 32 Fahrenheit, sometimes down to below freezing, like mid-late 20s, but usually rare it ever goes anywhere below that for winter. It's like cold, and the heat there almost goes extreme, but not to the exact extent where hands melting or freezing off lol. That would definitely be more ideal for it not to get to those extremes. Dr. Darling, thank you for redeeming the Rest in Peace Lara. What would you like? Lara, stay underwater. You think you saw some fishies. Ah. Thank you, Dr. Darling, for redeeming the Rest in Peace Lara. Caleb, you don't think you even knew they made a remaster of the original Tomb Raiders? Yeah, it was really cool that they did. I remember when they first announced it, I was really looking forward to it because the versions that I played of the first three were the PS1, and I've played the PC versions, but to actually be able to play again on an actual PlayStation console with the graphics and all that kind of stuff was really cool. And also, what they've done for the remastered graphics is really, really good. And it still retains the same feel. It's good that they added modded controls so people who needed the non-tank control style could have a way to play it. I prefer the tank controls, but that's mainly just because that's what I'm so used to. Like, when I play the old school Resident Evil games, it's almost like putting on a glove kind of thing. It just seems to fit. Dr. Darling, poor Lara getting the torture treatment she got in the latest reboot. Yeah. I mean, there's also a lot of very strong animations for deaths in the newer games as well. Don't want to keep that health loss. This is where the other one was. Caleb, yeah, you remembered they were during PS1 gen. And you never had a PS1 or played any Tomb Raider games before. And that's the other thing that's great. Making it available so that people can experience them. And the great thing is too, like if you aren't a fan of the graphics of the old school style, but you like the look of the new, you're still getting like a really good experience. And also if you do like the old school graphics, but you're not really that interested in the tank controls, it's good that you can experience the games as they looked and have modern controls. Caleb, even though PS2 was backwards compatible with PS1, they were, those were the days when it was a big focus for PlayStation with their backwards compat stuff. Not to say that they completely abandoned it, of course. That's not true, but at the same time, when I found out that with the PS3, after a certain amount of time, the newer models that they were making and selling didn't actually have the ability to replay PS1 games, and I assume PS2 games at the same time. I was like, that was really unfortunate. Caleb, the old classic 90s games were your childhood. It always had you with the old 64-bit graphics during this gen. They're still a lot of fun. The kind of pros and cons to having the original standard is definitely quality as much as the higher definitions. Oh yeah, and having the ability to play those old school games and have them presented in a way that definitely honors what it was like, but at the same time adding some features that just help make things a lot better, especially if there's like graphical features that they can implement that people can then, experience the game with. Caleb, yeah, you're even trying to figure out which PS3 models were PS2 compatible, and apparently it's really rare, like original 2006 release models were mainly the only ones with PS2 capability, and the rest lost that ability for some reason. And you just looked up recent, they had a PS2 adapter for the memory cards, since PS1 and 2 both had the standard memory cards, and NTSC PAL format standards on games when PS3 and newer runs native HD on Blu-ray formats. That is really such a shame. I wonder if there was something to do with the costs of it as to why they made that decision as well. But yeah, it's such a shame, especially when other companies were sort of like picking up the slack with their backwards compatible stuff. Hey there, Biko. Welcome back to another stream. Just a quickie from you before you try and play First Descendants with your new friends. God, you feel so special saying that, but it's true. It's difficult for you to make mates out of people for very long. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to, Biko. It can be tough, and it's good to find people that you can get on with and that you enjoy spending time with, and then the same with you as well. So that's definitely good, and always good to not take that for granted and stuff. But that's cool too. I hope that you have a great session with First Descendants. I don't really know too much about it, but I have heard of it before, and hopefully it's a good game that you're enjoying it. So there we go, Area 51. There's a proper way to do this, i.e., the way that they intended you to do, blah, blah, the way that they intended you to do it, or there's also the shortcut way. And I think I'm going to go with the proper way to do it, because I always use the other way. In February, when this remaster first came out, I actually did it the proper way for the first time ever, because I've always just done it the shortcut way. But I was doing that with the new graphics. So what I want to do with this playthrough is, because I'm sticking with the old graphics this time around for the remastered version, I'm going to do it properly. So yeah, this will be the second time ever that I've done this part properly and not done the shortcut. But the shortcut gets you over the fence that Lara actually jumps over with in the quad bike without you actually having to have the quad bike, which is quite funny because when you do get the jump right and you get over the fence, Lara climbs over the fence, and then the cutscene she's on a quad bike and jumps the fence, because you're supposed to actually get the quad bike from that area there where those guards are patrolling, and then drive to where the fence is, and then use the vehicle to get over the fence, and then when it cuts to the cutscene, it makes sense as to why Lara is on the quad bike versus just having her jump at the fence and climbing over it, and then having her jump over it in a quad bike. Hello there now, bro. Parkour. Hell yeah. When in doubt, use parkour. Hello there, James. Hopefully things are going well. Sorry, chat. We'll catch up in a moment. I don't normally go this route. This is only the second time ever. Trying to see where I'm going wrong. Because I need that to open up. Need the water to be drained. There was something to it last time that I was missing, but I can't remember now what that was. Even though it was back in February. I've played probably 20 or so games since then. Because over this way is actually where we ultimately need to go on the quad bike to get over there. Ah, yes, of course. Okay, so that's what's opening up when I do that. All right. While I've got this in my memory now, just do this. Hang on, did I save it before or after I interact with that before? Well, if I go like this, the wrong way anyway, but if I go through here and have a look if this door's open, then I know that I've actually saved it after opening it, not before it. Yep, okay, cool. So I saved it after opening that door. So I just need to go the right way. I'll just get to the opening that I opened up and then I'll catch up on chat. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, James, I see your DM now. Yep. Oh, yep, James, that is totally fine. Thank you for your message. You definitely don't have to worry. That's definitely understandable. I'll give you a response in your message as well, but that's definitely understandable, and that's all good, dude. Wayne, do you have a community Discord, or is that something that you're not interested in? I do, Wayne, yeah. So I'll get a link for you, and I'll put that in chat for the Discord. There we go, Wayne. So there's the Discord link, and when you join, I'll just have to change your role so that you can then access and like comment on certain channels. There's only some where it's only myself or mods, like when I'm announcing when I'm going live and stuff like that. But you can still react to that kind of post and stuff. But I'll just need to Change your role when you pop in. Alright, so I've changed your role and I've saved that, so that should now be active for you. James, yeah, they leave you from works today because technical difficulties with water source at the job, so you got earlier today. Ah, don't you love when there's things like that? I mean, that's good. You know, you get to fi pardon me, you get to finish your job earlier in the day as well. Gives you a bit more time to do some things you might have wanted to do and stuff like that. Now, bro, you decided to only play the Ripper DLC during the day, so you're not overly paranoid, lol. But so far you like it, but it's giving you questions. Oh, well, that's definitely understandable too, as well. And sort of like take in the things that you've experienced in it in the meantime. Well, that's good that you like it. There's definitely a lot of very interesting sort of like perspectives it brings up, and it's something that like you might not have thought something like that would be like effective in Assassin's Creed, but it is quite good. And I sometimes like to do that DLC as part of like my horror stuff, even though it's not like horror like monsters and vampires or demons and stuff like that. It's still something that is about a villain that kills people, serial killer and all that kind of stuff. So I sometimes do that. It's good to do as well if I want to fit in something that I didn't have scheduled. James, you are missing air right now, Rod. This is true. Lara needs air. Give these people ear. No worries at all, James. There's definitely no worries. Caleb, you're the only one that thinks Lara was still attractive looking even with the PS1 graphics low. The old late 90s. No worries at all, Wayne. Thank you for joining. James, you can now roleplay. No problem at all, Wayne. Thanks for the GGs. There's a simple reason why they are postmen, but no postwomen. It's a male-only job. Nice pun there, Dr. Darling. Thanks for using the Arnie impression for it. Hey, Lizzie, how's Nevada? It's gone pretty good. Just some snakes and some eagles and some UFOs coming up soon. Soonish. But yeah, it's going good. This is still the first Nevada level. There's actually a shortcut way to get over this fence without having to do things properly. But for this playthrough, I'm not going to do the shortcut way. But essentially, this fence here is what Lara in the quad bike actually has to jump over. But if you get the timing right and jump at a certain spot on the fence, Lara can actually grab the fence and climb over, and then it cuts into the not the FMV sequence, but it cuts into the cutscene where she's on the quad bike. But I'm going to do it properly in this playthrough, because earlier this year when I played through with the remastered graphics, for the first time ever, I actually did it the proper way. And because I'm doing this annual playthrough in the old school graphics, I figure I may as well do it the proper way again, so that I've done it in the old school graphics as well. But otherwise, it's a pretty good shortcut. Nah, bro, more so like what happened in that 20 years that made Jacob and Evie lose control over the rooks. Oh, yes. Yeah, I think there might be something in the database entry, maybe, that actually talks about that.
What is the worst insult you can say to a ghost? Get a life.
Poor ghosts trolling them. What the hell? They got enough trolling in real life, let alone in the afterlife. Thanks for redeeming that as a Bane impression, Dr. Darling. James, you like those pants on Lara? Looks cute. Yeah, the sweatpants. It's so funny. There's actually a comment that one of the guards that arrests her actually says, as you see, Lara has her weapons. For now. They'll get taken off her eventually, though. Which is why I like to do the Nevada levels first, when you get the option of choosing which order you do the locations in. James, those are some nice guns. Dual pistols, unlimited ammo. Now, bro, you have to look that up. It is kind of interesting, though, because that's a long time. 20 years worth of stuff that can happen. Yeah, Caleb. Lizzie, so what's the Pringles can flavor? Well, I haven't really tasted the can itself, but the actual contents inside was sour cream and onion. Just thought I'd be a bit silly there. But yeah, sour cream and onion is my favorite. James, you really like the Texas barbecue and the ghost peppers ones? Oh, I never actually tried the ghost pepper Pringles, but I think I tried the Texas barbecue ones once. I should actually get some of the other flavors to see if there's any other ones that I can get that I like. Lizzie, yeah, Rod, eat the can. That's the best part. I know, right? And I like to leave the lid till last, you know? All that plasticky goodness. Now, bro, also you're kind of annoyed that they give you more side missions after you spend the bulk of the base game clearing the fucking map. Yeah, they're like, hey, we heard that you like side quests, so we gave you some more side quests in the actual area where you've already done the side quests. And you've already cleared the whole map. Thanks for the welcome back, Senny. Welcome back to you as well, dude. So we are in Nevada, and soon Lara is going to get a very up close and personal tour of Area 51 as well. So it was really good because in the first stream today, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the first 4 levels done, but there is one of the levels where you don't have to go and get like all the stuff. So if you don't care about collectibles, there's actually a shorter route to get through the level and stuff like that. So the timing actually worked out really good and got those levels done. James, what you're eating, bro? DM side missions in Syndicate are fucking must-have. You have like 47% game progress and already have the Eevee white suit and level 10 perks opened. When Eevee have the chameleon perk, it's so fucking much fun. Love it. Now that is definitely a really cool sort of like outfit to have as well. It's a shame that Jacob doesn't get something like that as well. Crooked, that's cool. You thought it might have been Arizona, but that's close enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good question actually. Because you visited America, haven't you, Crooked? Look out for a jetpack, and that you're not going for Area 69, though. You might run into CJ there. Oh, that mission. I was so glad that when you did that mission, that it wasn't that difficult to get out of the place. Because I remember it took me a couple attempts to get out of the mission and survive. And I was like, oh, come on, CJ, let's get out of here.
You crazy geek freak. What kind of stunt is that to pull? Let's take her in.
She don't look much like one of them. Maybe she's an eco-terrorist or something.
And they wear hot pants, huh?
James, yeah, you love the white suit so much. She looks like Killer Bride. Now that's something that would be cool too, with mods for a lot of the Assassin's Creed games actually. Like, they do mods, of course, for characters from one game to wear outfits of characters from other games, especially outfits that the games don't let you by default uncover in the game to have swap to and all that kind of stuff, but actually do sort of like other character outfits from different franchises and stuff. Lizzie, Arizona is somewhat close to the southern tip of Nevada. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, because I just don't know too much about geography in general, let alone in the US. Not even my own damn country do I know every single nook and cranny. James, yeah, well, the side missions are there to help you get the chameleon pack. Vroom, vroom. More like vroom, vroom. Crash. Caleb is close by you, actually. Oh, so it's pretty close. Good. That's what I'd call a leap of fail. I was thinking the same thing. Definitely an epic way to do it. Imagine that in Assassin's Creed 2 or something. Having like a carriage on a rooftop and just having Ezio go over the top. James, what do you mean you never finished the game? It just sets your priorities right. Exactly. Lizzie, I'm Lara. What the fuck was that? That was her attempt at doing a stunt. It's like, hi, my name is Lara, and welcome to Jackass. Now, bro, why is it that Jacob seems to get so much like he gets so much hate? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, comedy is always subjective. You know, what one person finds funny isn't. So there might be a lot of what he says as jokes and in a humorous way might not be found funny by people and stuff. But I kind of like how he's very, very different to Evie in his personality, because I think that's important. Instead of just having both characters have the same personality, but just change their gender. You know, it's good to actually have very unique, different things about each of their character and stuff like that. I do feel like, though, there's a little bit of a bias against Jacob as a character, even in the writing sometimes, and all that kind of stuff, which I think it's unfair, but I'd be saying the same thing if it was the other way around, you know. But overall, I think Jacob is a good counterpoint to Evie, and it's good that there's that difference between them as well. But yeah, I've always found Jacob to be a character that I like and stuff. Same with Evie. You know, I've got nothing against Evie. The only nitpick I would have is that the writing makes her seem like she has blinders on when it comes to how the Templars operate. You know, this idea that Jacob is responsible for the economy of England going down in the dumps, when all Jacob really did was assassinate a Templar who, granted, was involved in the banking system. But Jacob wasn't the one that closed the bank down. Aberline did that. And also, Evie should know that the Templars aren't just going to sit back and let the assassins win, and they're going to do stuff to counteract that. So what do the Templars do? They steal the printing plates of the money, and they want to circulate fake money. Is that Jacob's fault? Of course not. So it's like, they should have written Evie to be like, you know, the Templars are up to something. You know, they've got to, they're probably behind it, you know. And then just basically be like, right, got to fix this, and here's the printing plates. Here we go. We can settle this as well, you know. But it's pretty much just like, Jacob, you fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. It's like, well, he assassinated a target, and the Templars are going to not just sit back and let that happen. They're going to do something, and they have all the power, the money, the resources, and the control to pull stuff off. So it shouldn't be a surprise that they would then find a way to make an assassin's success, turn it around and make it work for them to their benefit. And that's pretty much what the Templars did. So I feel like it's more of the writer wrote that scenario in a way that doesn't actually match the wider Templars as a whole in how they operate, and how they're always going to find a way to get back at the assassins for the successes that they achieve. James, you have like 300 hours in the game. The second you're getting the toxin dart is the main mission's done, and then you kind of waste hours doing outposts and shit. Well, that is really cool to get the toxic darts and stuff. That's what I like to use in Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well. You get to make the enemies go crazy and shoot each other too. Well, Jacob's kind of assault type, and you like the stealth gameplay more, so Evie is for you. And that's definitely good too, you know, to have that ability to choose. Like, granted, obviously you can't just pick Evie and play as her through the whole story, and you can't just pick Jacob and play as him through the whole story. But it is still good that they do put points where you can actually decide, do you want to play as Evie or do you want to play as Jacob? So I'm glad that they did at least give you the opportunity to do a certain amount of things as either one as well. Because even in game, Jacob gets hate. This is true, Lizzie. Yeah, it really does. You know, like you can still make two characters distinct to one another. You can still make characters not get on. You know, so it's understandable that Evie is more in line with how her father operated as an assassin, whereas Jacob, for some reason, we don't really see that in the game. Maybe in the novel, Assassin's Creed Underworld, or some other media, maybe we find out what the thing was between Jacob and his father. Like, why is Jacob sort of like negative towards him, whereas Evie is obviously more positive and stuff like that. So that's something that I feel they could have explored a little bit more in the game. And Ethan Fry and Cecily, who is Jacob and Evie's mother, it would have been really cool. And I've said this before, if they kept the Chronicles as a side spin-off to the mainline entries, where they could delve into so many different characters, and they wouldn't all have to be the same graphical style, but just use the Chronicles title as a subcategory of Assassin's Creed games where it's like, how about we do a game where we play as this character? So actually having a Chronicles game where you played as Evie and Jacob's mother and father, I think that would have been a really good thing to have as a supplementary to the Syndicate game. You know, just as an example of what they could have done with the Chronicles series to give more game time and story time for gamers with so many different characters, like even like Claudia Auditore, you know, because she becomes an assassin, of course. So having like a story, a game where you played as her would have been cool, and also to have it so that we can see what's going on when Ezio is in Constantinople in Revelations. You know, have a Yusuf game, you know, things like that. A game with you know, Evie and Henry, you know, things like that. Crooked, what is this, Greenie? Assassin Christmas? To be honest, you kind of cringed on that the first time, but Jacob does grow on you, all things considering he goes through. Yeah, you know. And there's that moment between him and Alexander Graham Bell where it's like, and they do this thing, and I just don't really get it. Like, my interpretation is that Jacob is pretending to be like, you know, I'll punch her for some reason. And Thingo's like, that little moment between the two of them, I just don't really understand 100% what's going on there. No, bro, he reminds you a little of Ezio with the brash arrogance and flair. That's definitely a good comparison in a way, you know. Like, Ezio was definitely very humorous, but I feel like Jacob and Arno are more quippy than Ezio was as well. Like, they're more in line with, like, you know, the movies where you have those one-liners or those characters that are constantly cracking jokes and stuff. I think Jacob and Arno, to an extent, are more on that side of things, whereas Ezio can be humorous and say funny things, but it's not like he's a stand-up comedian assassin, whereas with Jacob, it's more in that line of things. James, you like the scene? What was that? An explosion? Evie, explosion? Evie, oh, you mean the lab exploded? Yeah, that's a little funny moment between the two of them as well. Lizzie, Evie should have been written to blame Jacob a little less, or the train crashing and Evie not really showing any concern about if he's injured or not. Yeah, you know, I mean, things like that can go a long way as well. And I think there should have been a bit more of a balance between the two characters having those moments where, yeah, they might not have made the right decision 100%, but you can still understand where they were coming from and have that mutual understanding where they eventually realize, hey, you know, both of us have our pros and our cons, and it's the pros that we both have which really, really complement each other, and I think that kind of still gets through in the game at a certain point, where it's like both of their methods may be different to each other, but both methods are very useful for the assassins as a whole to take. So they're basically, you know, two pieces that fit really well together, despite the differences that they have. Hey there, Stan. thank you so very much for the 15 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really do appreciate that, Stan. How's things going for you today? Thank you for using your Prime as well. Minor convenience happens. Evie, remember what father used to say? Yeah. It's like that dagger that's hanging over, or the dagger that she hangs over his head all the whole time, you know. It's probably just Quebec getting weird as usual. Well, this is true. You know, they have been known to put questionable sort of like changes and little jabs here and there at stuff, you know. Now, bro, we forgot how annoying the Starrick boss fight was. Yeah, that can be annoying too as well. Especially if you're trying to do it stealthy. Like, there's been some playthroughs where I've tried to do it really stealthy that's been a pain. Caleb, you still need to get AC Syndicate and get AC Unity again and finish it, lol. Well, that'd be good, though, when you do as well and get through it and, you know, get to the end and maybe even play the DLC as well if there's any content that you hadn't played yet. Okay, so I'll make a save, and this is what the game leaves you with when you actually do this Nevada level and get to this point. You only have one small medipack. Now imagine this. You're playing the game for the first time, you do the first 4 levels, you've gotten however many bits of ammo and weapons and all that kind of stuff, and then you decide, oh, I'll do London first, or you do South Pacific Islands first, whichever out of the two. So you do that, and you might do London or South Pacific first, and that's about 4 levels. And then afterwards you might think, I might do the other one, which might be, you know, South Pacific Islands or London. Just for the sake of argument, let's say you chose London first, so you do the London levels, and then after that you decide to do the South Pacific Island levels. And then you're like, right, I got all this ammo and all these guns and all this kind of stuff. And then you have Nevada left. And you go in and you do that level that I just did. And then you get to this point and then you go to your inventory and you're like, where the fuck is all the 8 levels worth of, or potentially 12 levels worth? Where's all that levels worth of stuff that I actually collected? And the game is like, ha! Lara got it all taken off her, and all we give you is one small medipack. So this is why I do the Nevada levels first, so that whatever gets collected in India isn't so big of a loss compared to what it could be if you choose Nevada last and do that. So here we are with only one small medipack. So all the ammo and weapons that I had, I've lost that. So we have to build it back up again. Stan, you don't like Syndicate's writing as much as others, excluding Rogue because that's a reverse masterpiece in itself. When Jacob yelled as, "Father is dead!" you're like, oh, for God's sake, finally we're done with that, what Father would do, what Father would say. Yeah, it's totally understandable, you know, and as much as I do feel it is the better Quebec game that they've done so far in comparison to Odyssey, I do feel like there is still a lot of things that they could have done better with that game story. And it's definitely interesting seeing what the original concepts and stuff was for the game before they actually decided to change it as well. But yeah, sometimes that kind of stuff, that plot point or plot points like that can just get bashed over your head too many times. You're like, look, we get it, right? Don't have to labor the point 100 times over. James, yeah, one of those days you're going to finish the game, but playing as Evie is kind of hard getting the story. You're having way too much fun running around killing shit and thinning the workforce at the arena. Yeah, you know, because you get those games where you just want to exist in the game world and you don't really want to finish the story. You know, that was like what Skyrim was for me for a while, and same with GTA Vice City. It just took me a while to actually knuckle down and do the whole story because I was just having so much fun doing all the side stuff, or just, exploring the game world, not really particularly doing any side missions, but just exploring every corner of the place. Hey there, Rosie, welcome. Has Ubisoft Massive made an Assassin's Creed game? Not that I know of. Yeah, I don't know if they have. They probably have worked on one, but I don't know if they've been the sole studio working on an Assassin's Creed, though. And here we go. So for a while in this level, until we get our dual pistols back, the enemies that you face, there's also other people that are held captive in Area 51, so when you release them from where they are, they'll attack the enemies for you. Caleb, you still need to play Rogue and Black Flag as well. Literally the only AC games you've played and completed so far is Ezio Trilogy and 3 and Unity. You'd been around a good portion through. Rogue is one of those games, like, I don't like the story and the character that you play as, but I do like the gameplay as well. And it is cool, though, to see certain characters that you saw in AC3. But overall, I wasn't really too happy with Rogue. Black Flag is such a great game. Like, I really enjoy that a lot. If there was a game right now in the series that I could just pick up and play, and I didn't have any schedule about it, or didn't have any, because at the moment I've got the AC2 playthrough I'm doing, but let's say I didn't, and I wasn't streaming anything else, I'd be like, Black Flag it is. I love that game so much. It's such a great one. James, well, the only games you played is the first one a long time ago, and now Syndicate is your heart game. Well, that's cool, James, that you got back into the series, after having played the first one as well. That first one is really, really good. Whenever I play that one again, it always re-grounds me back in the series, and as time went on and they got so far away from things, it is really cool to return back to what they were doing in the earlier games. It just feels fresh especially after replaying the newer ones and then going back to the old ones again. Yeah, Lizzie, I like Liberation. Yeah, I think there's some flaws that prevent it from being like an amazing thing, but I definitely do like that game's story. I like how you have the hacker group, Erudito, and all that kind of stuff, the entertainment product angle, that kind of stuff, and how Black Flag ties into that or connects itself to it. Caleb, you heard of All Black Flag is the one everyone loves. I mean, yeah, it definitely has people that don't like it. Then you got some who feel like it's got nothing Assassin's Creed about it, which in some ways I can understand, but in other ways I like to disagree because it's simply seeing things from a different character's perspective. And I think that aspect too is something that works really well for people who haven't played any Assassin's Creed games before. Because as the character learns about stuff, new people to the series are learning about stuff too. I think that's really, really cool when that kind of stuff can happen. Lizzie, you're currently going through AC2, doing a 100% playthrough. It's been really fun. I'm glad that you've been having a good time with it, Lizzie. And it's also good that you got all the feathers collected as well, because that's a pretty time intensive, and it can be a very tedious kind of thing too. James, well, most people don't like Syndicate, which you kind of found out. Not sure why. Like, Evie is so cute. What do you mean? The thing I like about that game, Syndicate, is the idea of having like this whole Victorian era, version of London to run around in because that's a time period that I've liked to see in other media as well. And the whole Charles Dickens thing, that's quite cool. And the whole sort of like ghost investigations that you do and all that kind of stuff, it really helps fill out the world that you're in and also helps create some extra immersion as well. the Zia stream has kept you company while you look for those feathers. Also, seeing Ezio's mother's reaction made it worth it, even though you don't think you'll wear the cape. Well, that is good, Lizzie. I'm glad that you're able to use the stream as a way to, have something going in the background as well. So I do appreciate that too when people do that as well. Like, I don't want people to feel like they have to, chat if they're not feeling up to it. If you just want to have the stream on and have it on in the background, it's always good. And I don't blame you. I really do like that whole cutscene. It's a shame that you have to collect as many feathers. I think it would have been better if you collected 25, then you'd get that first cutscene, and then when you collected 50, you'd get the final one. But ultimately, I do understand why they wanted to wait until you got the 100, because that's the idea of having done it in honor of Petruchio's memory, and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, from a completely gameplay perspective side of things, the amount of time that you have to spend to get that done, and if you're looking at purely from what you get out of it, in terms of like the gameplay, then it's not really 100% worth going through. So if anyone, hasn't done that collecting of the feathers, but you are curious to see what actually happens when you do in terms of story stuff, then obviously on YouTube, you'll be able to find those actual scenes as well. But the idea of honoring Petruchio like that, and just how devastated Maria was as well, and because it's not just her husband that she's lost, but she's also lost two of her sons as well. And obviously, the bond between mother and child is definitely very strong. Not that it can't be between father and child as well, but there's just a different whole level of layering to it, when it's a mother losing their child. So there's just so much stuff in that. So it is really good to see Maria be able to work through that grief and all that kind of stuff too, as well. Dr. Darling, uh-huh. If only. That'd be so cool, though. I wonder why they took that out, but yeah. It's like, Lara doesn't go, uh-huh, anymore. Nah, bro, 100 feathers was a bit much, though. That is true, that is quite a lot. Good thing, though, it wasn't 420 feathers like it was with flags in AC1, and all you get for it is, well, an achievement or a trophy. You don't get any sort of, like, in-game reward or anything. James, not sure who the Lawrence girl is, but maybe. Oh, I see. Yeah, the comment that Narbro did with Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen all her stuff, but the first thing I saw her in was X-Men First Class. That's the name of it. That's right. Had to think for a moment there. There's been so many X-Men movies. Caleb, you're still trying to 100% the Ezio trilogy, lol. You just completed the story missions alone, working on 2, plus also having it between 360 and PS3 both formats in the one series remaster. Just going back and forth between them all, lol. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair too, as well. But that is good that you are working on 100% in the Ezio trilogy. It is such a really good trilogy of games. James, you have no idea who she is? Oh, okay. Well, Google will definitely give you some answers. But yeah, she's an actress that has been in a lot of movies now. There we go. That's a better trajectory to take. I love that. The guy's like, bang, 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 and the guy's like, ha ha ha, punch, punch, dead. He's like, I'll just take a few bullets. It's alright. I'll just punch this guy twice and he'll be dead. That's true, Lizzie, yeah. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence was in the Hunger Games. You are Jennifer Lawrence, Stanley? And Stanley was Jennifer Lawrence. That can be your new Twitch name. Yeah, nah, bro, so funny. It's like run, 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 jump, and impaled times five. And I'm like, I'll just actually do it the way that the game wants people to do it instead of trying to be a smart ass with it. Yeah, Caleb, I never actually saw all of those movies. I think I saw the first one. Now, bro, whenever you go back and play the pre-PS4 AC titles, you get the same feeling you get watching Batman the Animated Series. Oh, that is really cool. It's always good to have those things that you can have those memories of, and it brings back memories too. Plus how nostalgic stuff can be as well. Hello, Sage. Welcome. You finally finished ISO, so Amanda just kind of floats in space after? You thought it was going to be some happy ending tie into with Ripley, but alright. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very short ending as well, I found. But there is a sequel, but it's a mobile phone game that picks up, I don't know how long after the events, but um, if you can see that there's some ship or some light that actually passes by the visor of her helmet before it goes to the credits. And I don't know the name of the ship or who the crew is, but she does get picked up by some crew, and the mobile game has something to do with closing and opening vents to try and stop the alien from getting to you or getting to someone. But I've never actually seen any gameplay of it. But yeah, there is a sequel to Alien Isolation, but it's a mobile phone game. But as for like a proper actual sequel, they haven't done that. I don't think they will either at this point. James, The Hunger Games is the movie that was overhyped and failed miserably. Same goes for Squid Games. You have some standards. Well, that's definitely understandable, to have sort of things that you don't really want to, deal with or worry about. There's so many movies and whatnot that come out that just, you see them once maybe and you never have to again because it's so terrible. Caleb, you're still waiting for the sequel to Isolation. Yeah, that mobile sequel was only one you found that somehow is a sequel to Isolation. Yeah, I really would have liked to see a sequel as well. And it would have been cool if the sequel was having some of the elements that we see in Aliens, like set it a few years after Alien Isolation, um, but obviously not too many years in advance. But still, it'd be cool to see how many years pass between games. Caleb, yeah, you'd picture it like 2 to 3 years later. Yeah, and I don't know what the story could have been, but it would have been interesting to go to a whole different location, still make it feel like you're isolated somewhere, but have it be off of like a space station this time around. James, like Romulus was awesome. Enjoyed the movie so much, being added in IMAX, and it was fucking real. That is cool. Glad that you enjoyed it a lot. You never know sometimes with these sequels or prequels whether they're going to be any good, because at a point it can become watered down and it can feel like it's just rehashing the same stuff over and over again. Even though there's definitely people that want things to be the same way all the time, but sometimes it can be detrimental because it doesn't try to do anything different that actually fits. Sage, yeah, you were 10 years late, but it still was an awesome experience. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it because I really do like that game a lot myself. It's probably my favorite, or one of my favorite games based on a movie series. It's just so good. Caleb, was something about around that amount of time or less, maybe. Yeah, give a bit of a breathing space between the events of isolation, and maybe she's found out some more information about Wayland Yutani in that time. And Mita, welcome. Thank you so very much, dude, for the raid. Thank you so much. How was your stream, dude? Playing some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim, very nice. That's cool. So how's your playthrough going and progressing? Welcome to you and your raiders as well. Sage, after watching all the Alien movies, you guess you just wanted some Amanda and Ripley closure. I don't blame you at all. It is such a sad thing, especially because the second movie, Aliens, the events in that take place 57 years after the first movie. And so, of course, in that time, so much has happened since the events of Alien Isolation as well. Oh yeah, and Mita, that's definitely understandable, because sometimes time zone or schedules don't match up. That is really cool that you're able to raid. Muchly appreciated. I am doing well, thank you. Doing really good progress. I got the first 4 levels done that are set in India in the previous stream earlier. Wasn't sure if I was, but I was glad that I did. And then if I can finish at least 2 of the Nevada levels in this stream, it'll be good. Sort of head start on tomorrow's stream. Thanks for the GGs, Wayne. Thank you, dude. Amita, no problem. It went well. You started the Companions quest line. Oh, very nice. That is really cool. Glad that it went well, and I hope that the campaign or the Companions quest line is going well so far. Caleb, you just pictured it being kind of like Aliens went out, where someone finds Amanda in space and it goes from there, and kind of goes somewhat like Aliens went in a way, maybe. Kind of like how it went down with Ripley and Aliens. Possibly happened in the Isolation sequel, and the crew just gets all taken down by the aliens. They get a lot, or they pre-plan since Amanda already knows about the aliens, and they team up in the sequel or something. Yeah, I mean things like that. So many concepts that they could do. I mean, you never know. There's definitely been really long gaps between entries in a franchise before, so maybe they will eventually do a proper sequel to Alien Isolation. Yeah, Mithra, it's going well. You did only 2 quests, but it was fun. You were low level, but you had 3 followers, so they did most of the work. That's cool. It's always good to delegate when you can, and just let them take the brunt of stuff. Just sit back and kick your feet up and be like, go ahead, deal with this for me. That's true, Caleb, yeah. It's so crazy how quickly time can fly. And I've done 2 playthroughs so far for its 10th anniversary, and I'm going to do another one, but it won't be anything special in terms of like a challenge or anything like that. But there is some content that I want to do for it that I haven't done for a while, and that's actually the DLC that has Ellen Ripley and a couple of the other characters from the first movie involved in it. Sage, I think the hardest part of the nightmare was when there were 5 Joes chasing you outside in the storm and you have to solve 4 different puzzles located in different places. I can definitely feel your pain in that. It doesn't help, too, that the way that they've actually designed all the walkways and all that is very maze-like as well. And plus on Nightmare mode, as you know, with the motion tracker being all over the place, it doesn't necessarily make it any easier to actually navigate through that. Whereas I'm always using the motion tracker on the other difficulties to help keep an eye on where the next objective actually is, because there's just so much going on, so many different directions to take. Plus there's so much stuff going on in terms of visuals and audio at the same time too. Oh, you do, Caleb? You got the DLC as well, and you played it? Nice. It was pretty awesome they added the level playthrough from the original, so it was kind of like if the Alien game was based directly, as in the movie timeline. You really think they did great making that. This is so true. It's really cool to play the scene that we see in the first movie where Ellen is essentially having to escape through the airlock, things like that. Just really make it feel even closer to the first movie. As much as the game already is like that in the base, it's always good to have that extra layer added with the DLC. Sage, can't really kill Joes either unless you want to waste all your resources. Yeah, like when you get the bolt gun, like I love using that. Definitely very effective. Caleb, and the Alien comes out more frequently in the harder difficulty settings, all the way up to Nightmare mode, which you've completed all the modes. Yeah, it definitely can, and that frequency can get annoying too, especially when you want to make a break for it, but then you have to stop, because if you do, you'll get killed. So then you have to hide again and then wait again. That was the easiest way for those ones. Yeah. I remember when I first played it, I was like, oh, great. So these working Joes can't be killed now because of the thing that they were wearing. But I was so glad that there was actually a weapon type that you can use against them. Sage, you only had 2 shots ever in your whole playthrough with that thing. Or did you? Just 2? I mean, there have been moments in that game when using that bolt gun where I've missed the working Joe because I've tried to give myself a bit more room to back up, and in so doing, have actually slightly missed when aiming. Caleb, and Hardened Nightmare really limits down resources quite a bit, so it's harder to keep items stocked more and available, which makes it tricky to work around. Yeah, you even missed at times too, lol. The aiming was tricky to keep it directly on point without messing up. Oh, absolutely. And also if you're backing away and going up something as well at the same time. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Look at that. 16-bit food. Those fans are going too quick though. Need to slow them down. Sage, is majority Tomb Raider fans' favourite one the 2015 Rise of the Tomb Raider? Not too sure in that respect. The reboot trilogy is tricky because the way that they do certain things and their approaches is very sort of like divisive amongst some classic Tomb Raider fans as well. And it can be hard because I'm in the middle because I like both versions. But at the same time, I can definitely understand the fans of the classic Lara who don't like the new Lara and their criticisms and stuff. Like, I can understand it. The reason I like the reboot version as well is because, not that I think classic Lara is inferior or anything like that, but I just can't help enjoying the gameplay of it and the stories as well. And I definitely would say that I prefer classic Lara, which is why when I look at certain things that the reboot trilogy did, I'm kind of like, yeah, they really should have lent into that more so that the fans of the classic Lara only can have what they want put back into it, where it's like, yeah, you know, like the dual pistols is one of those things. Like, I get that with the reboot version of Lara, they wanted to make the bow and the climbing axe an iconic sort of like thing and a silhouette and all that kind of stuff. At the same time, I think that after the events of Tomb Raider 2013, Lara could easily have had the dual pistols because she still does, that's the thing. And in some ways it can come off like a tease that never actually gets paid off, you know. Because at the end of Tomb Raider 2013, I'm going to talk about spoilers about the reboot trilogy, so just a heads up. At the end of Tomb Raider 2013, because Roth dies, he had the dual pistols, right? So Lara inherits those, basically. And when she's fighting Matthias, she uses dual pistols, and you actually press the buttons. The funny thing is, as an aside, you can literally just spam the buttons, you know, but it's a bit tricky if you're trying to make it look cinematic. Anyway, that's beside the point. But there's this really cool shot where as Matthias falls down, the camera angle is looking up at Lara as she's standing over the camera, and she's got the two guns down at her side of her arms, you know. That image is really, really cool. But you don't get the dual pistols in the next game. You don't get them in the third game, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider game, you know. So I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Like, it comes at, like, back when the game first came out and before Rise came out, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were classic fans that were like, that's really cool. In the next one, she'll have the dual pistols, you know. And I can't help but feel like it is a bit of a slap in the face for Lara not to be able to have the dual pistols. She could still have the bow and the climbing axe. You don't have to take them out of her inventory. But I feel like having the dual pistols would have been something that went a long way with the fans of the classic Lara as well. Now, obviously, there's a lot of differences between classic Lara and new Lara in terms of like backstory and her parents and all that kind of stuff. Classic Lara, her parents are still very much alive. They just don't want anything to do with her because she went against their wishes, and their wishes was that she was to marry this aristocrat. But Lara didn't want to do that. And there was a plane crash that Lara had in the Himalayas, and she basically had to learn how to survive. in harsh conditions on her own. Part of that process triggered in Lara this desire, this adrenaline rush to want to actually go into dangerous situations, which is why she's such a daredevil. You know, the classic Lara is such a daredevil of a character because, you know, she wants that thrill of running and jumping and almost missing but catching the edge, you know, and then pulling herself up. She wants the adrenaline of jumping out of a plane, you know, with a parachute, like, or all these sorts of things, right? So she's an adrenaline junkie. She becomes that because of what happens. So when she gets a taste of that, she wants to have her own independent freedom. So she decides, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't want to marry. I want to be single and I want to be independent and I just want to live life on my terms. And her parents were like, you're not our daughter then anymore. We disown you. And Lara's like, fine. And just goes and lives her life. You know, so that's the classic Lara, where she has that sort of background. Her parents are still alive, but to them she's dead, symbolically, because they feel like she's gone against probably tradition, you know, family, you know, and all that kind of stuff. What's interesting, though, is that whole thing with the marriage and the parents and all that kind of stuff. They actually take that and they put it into the reboot version of Lara, but they actually put it on her mother instead. So in the reboot series, it's her mother who didn't want to get married to the person that her parents and her family had actually set up for her. She wanted to marry Richard Croft instead. And the family were basically like, you know, you're ruining your life. Why are you marrying this guy? You know, all this kind of stuff. So they take that. Whoop, sorry. The controller I had on my lap was about to fall on the ground. I'll put it on my table so I don't have to worry about that. So they take that element from classic Lara where her parents wanted her to marry this guy and she refused and then they disowned her and all that kind of stuff. But they take it and put it in the reboot series but put it onto her mother and make it that it's Richard Croft that she actually wants to marry instead. Whereas with Lara, there's no other person that she wants instead of this other guy. She just basically wants to be independent and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, in the reboot series, you have it that her mother dies in a plane crash in the Himalayas, which is also an element from classic Lara's backstory where it was her that had the plane crash. But in her case, obviously, she survives. Whereas in her mother's case in the reboot trilogy, her mother dies as a result of the injuries in the plane crash. Her father is devastated, of course, and it sets off this obsession with wanting to find a way to bring Lara's mother back to life and going after all this stuff. And so that's why he's so obsessed with that. And Lara in the reboot trilogy wants to follow in his footsteps and, you know, all that. And in the 2013 game, she experiences all those events and it makes her more receptive to the supernatural stuff that's actually in the world. Because before she was a little bit skeptical about all that kind of thing. But everything that happens with Himiko and the fact that she actually has supernatural power, is able to control the weather and all that kind of stuff, it opens up her eyes and she starts to basically believe what her father believed was that there was something more to life than what we see, that there's something else, you know, and all that kind of stuff. The thing about that is, and this is totally fair for people to feel this way, a lot of people who don't like the new version of Lara don't like that she's following in her father's footsteps and it's all about her father and all that kind of stuff. And I don't blame them for feeling that way. I don't have as much of an aversion to it, but at the same time, you can do something too much and it becomes too much and it needs to be scaled back or not focused on anymore as well. So that's just an example of the differences between the two versions of Lara and the different backstories and stuff, and some of what fans feel and all that kind of thing. As for the next game in the series, I don't know what they're doing story-wise, but their idea has been to unify the two versions of Lara together, which is why in a lot of the media you see her wearing the classic outfit, but she's got the necklace around her neck that the reboot version of Lara has, and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully in the next game you actually use dual pistols, because that would be cool to bring that back finally. But yeah, I can definitely understand fans who got to the end of 2013 being like, "Oh, cool, she got the dual pistols, so that means that in the next game she's gonna have it." Next game comes along, and it's like, nope. The DLC, incidentally, for Rise of the Tomb Raider called Blood Ties, where you actually go into Lara's mansion, that actually covers a lot of stuff, and in that you actually find the two pistols that Roth had. So Lara still actually has them. So that's another instance of them teasing the dual pistols if you do that DLC. So if you've done that DLC, then you might be like, finally, in the next game, she's going to get the dual pistols. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes out and no dual pistols, you know. But as I said before, like, I don't mind if they had kept the bow and all that kind of stuff, but put the dual pistols in so at least players have the option of using those. And as for the whole, the old school Tomb Raiders don't go so much for realism. They go more for the logic of adventure and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the reboot tries to be a bit more realistic. Having said that, though, just because they're trying to be realistic in certain ways doesn't mean that they should completely ignore video game logic. And so, in the old school games, with Lara having unlimited ammo for her dual pistols, that's not realistic, obviously. But gameplay-wise, it's cool to be able to rely on those as a fallback, even if you run out of ammo for other stuff. But I really feel like having the dual pistols be in the reboot trilogy, you could still make unlimited ammo. It's not realistic, but video game logic wise, it's something that I think fans would enjoy being able to use. Now, should it be OP? Of course not. You know, Lara shouldn't be able to have the dual pistols in the reboot trilogy, and if there's like, you know, a boss enemy that she fights, she shouldn't just shoot them once with both pistols and they're dead. Like, you know, obviously. But at least give players the option to switch to the dual pistols if they want to as well. So, yeah, hopefully in the next game they're going to do that with the dual pistols, because it's been way too long that they've teased that version of Lara having it and never delivered. And you want to at least deliver now. Like, is it too late for some fans to get on board with the new Lara if they give her the dual pistols? I think so. But you never know. There might be some who sort of, if the game is good too, as well, it might actually help. Sorry about that long tangent. And Mita, thank you so much for the welcome back. You like the 2013 game more? That's understandable. Out of the ones that, out of the reboot trilogy, I probably played that one the most. And it's not just because it came out first before Rise and Shadow, so, you know, obviously it'd be the one you played the most. But ever since the other two came out, I've gone back to the 2013 game more times than I have Rise or Shadow. Man, you never played the Tomb Raiders over the years. We'll have to go through them in the future. And a lot of other supposedly great gaming series. Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like there's so many franchises that exist that you might have only played some of them, and then there's others that you really want to get to. And for me, I'd really like to get to actually playing through the God of War franchise, because I've only played the first two games in the series. I'd also like to go through the Hitman series, and I've never played any of those. But I want to start at the start with the very first one and work all the way through. And mate, you haven't played the old Lara games, so you started with 2013 and only played the reboot games, but you really enjoyed them. That is cool that you have in Meta, you know, that you've found a lot of good in it and that you've had fun. And some of the lore that you find out in that 2013 game is really, really cool. I love everything about the island, the history of it, Himiko, and, you know, all the other time periods where people have crashed on the island and what's happened. I really feel like there's a whole lot of content just from that stuff alone that could have actually been good for a mini-series where they covered each time period. Like you could have a prequel mini-series. The first season would focus on Himiko's time period. The second season would focus on World War II. And then the third time period would focus on when Matthias first gets on the island in the 1980s. And then the third season could end with Matthias seeing that the ship that Lara is on is actually arriving, and sort of have it so that the miniseries prequel would end literally a few moments before we see Lara get knocked out on the beach at the start of the 2013 game and do that. There's a lot of stuff in that lore of Yamatai and all that kind of stuff that could have really been filled out in some other form of media. How do chickens stay fed? They exercise. Oh dear. Thanks for redeeming that one, Dr. Darling, as an Narnia impression. Admit you're now thinking on playing the old games. That would be cool to see you do, and especially with the remasters of 1, 2, and 3. I'm hoping they do a remaster of at least 4 and 5, but also 6 as well. And 4 is Last Revelation. They end up dropping the Roman numerals. So the 4th one is Last Revelation, and the 5th one is Chronicles, and the 6th one is the Angel of Darkness. And that's the final entry in the old school style of Lara Croft games. And then you have the first reboot trilogy, which began with Legend in 2006. Then they did a remake of Tomb Raider 1 that also serves as a prequel to Legend. And then they did a follow-up to Legend called Underworld. And then that's that trilogy. So you can still get those on PC as well. And then, of course, you got the reboot trilogy. The second reboot trilogy, I should say. But yeah, it's cool that they've done the remasters for the first 3, because then people who haven't played it before could get a taste of it and actually really like it. So hopefully they do remasters of the other ones. James Game has 29GB hard drive patch, has HD patch has 35GB, and Universal HD overhaul is 58GB. Like, what? Jeez, that's a lot of gigs.
This morning, I saw a guy dragging a clam on a leash, and I thought it must be hard to walk with a pulled muscle.
Something fishy about that pun. Thank you for redeeming that as a Bane impression. Emita, you didn't know this. You've played all 3 of them twice. Perfect balance. Oh, have you? Oh, really? Oh, cool. But yeah, there's so much stuff. And what's good too as a streamer with that content in the reboot trilogy is not having to read stuff. It's good to have the narration that they have for it. Wayne, I would love Hitman Dude. I really like the look of the newer ones. I had seen some of the older ones back in the day, but I never actually played them before. But I looked at some footage from the first game and one of the missions, and you could see even back then the idea of having multiple different ways to do stuff was really, really cool. Emita, got to get ready for work now, so you have to go. The night shift awaits. Have a great stream. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Emita. I really do appreciate that. Also, thank you so much for the raid as well. I hope that everything goes well. Hopefully, the night shift will not drag out. Hopefully, if it's going to be like an annoying shift, hopefully it goes quickly. But otherwise, hope you have a great one. Definitely catch you next time. Ah, that's right. I had to get the fans to go slower. Oh yeah, Amita, that's no problem at all for the shout out. Damn it, I wanted to do that without losing any health, but of course not. So where are we? Oh good, not too far away from where I was before. Alrighty then, so we've got past that part with the fans. Hey there, Zomb. Welcome on in, dude. How's things going? As for me, things are going well. Working on the second Nevada level right now. Earlier today I did a stream and finished the first 4 levels of the game in India. How's things going with you? Sage, well, all that Tomb Raider lore explained earlier sure does explain why so many people love it, especially the arranged marriage, father stuff where it wants to be her own person. Absolutely, Sage, and that's part of the fantasy of being Lara Croft, is just this idea of someone who is fiercely independent, someone who doesn't have to answer to anyone, someone who can wake up in the morning and just be like, right, I'm going to do things the way I want to do them. I'm going to live my life the way I want to. I'm going to go out and have fun, and I'm going to do things I enjoy. That sort of stuff that, I mean, yeah, sometimes we do get to do that stuff, but not all the time, But it is good to have that sort of like cathartic thing where you can, it's why novels, stories and books and games and shows and movies and stage plays and stuff have been so popular for a long time, is just this ability to immerse yourself into the world of some other character, or through a different character, or in a whole different scenario, things like that. So it's really cool to be able to experience that kind of stuff. Almost dropped my controller again. I've got this habit of resting my controller on my knee, and of course, as I'm talking, sometimes it starts to slide off and then boom, about to drop. But yeah, so that's something that is really good about the backstory for Classic Lara as well. Caleb, it's like how you are independent. Absolutely, it's good to be able to, have that as well. Hey there, Saint. Welcome on in. Fiercely independent like Bon Jovi when he's saying "It's my life." Yeah, things like that are really, really cool. Zom, you recently woke up quite early to tell. However, you completed the Order 1886 last night, which is quite divisive, but for $20 you're glad you checked it out. Oh, that's definitely understandable too, as well. Can definitely be very difficult to tell if you just wake up, once you wake up. But that's cool that you enjoyed it, and it's good to put it in perspective too, imagine paying full price for it, if it's a game like that, but that's good that you enjoyed it. Thanks, Saint. Thank you for the shout out. Said your girlfriend liked Detroit Become Human so much she went and played Life is Strange by herself, and now you bought chapters 2 to 5 for you to play. They're very similar if you've heard of it. That is really cool, Sage. That's awesome. That's cool that she liked that game too, because it is such a good one. I really like that game a lot. I've heard of those games, so I never actually played any of them as yet, though. Lizzie, apparently they put a dead pig in AC Valhalla in memory of a video game dev. I think I might have vaguely remember hearing about that before as well. Don't think I've actually come across it though in a playthrough. Not that I've gone out my way to look either, but haven't even come across it just randomly. Sage is basically DBH except algorithm, but for college girls just like she is. But in reality, it's cool topics, not just drama bullshit like friend groups, people being cruel, step parents, parents being mean, etc. Then how do you choose to handle those? Only got Detroit Become Human because of me, Rod. You can't forget that. That is so cool. I'm glad that you were inspired to play the game yourself after seeing me play it, and that's happened with me before too, with other people that have played a game, and I've gone, you know what? I need to play that game as well. An example of that is called Detroit, Disco Elysium. Like I saw Saint Ravage play through that game, and I really, really liked the look of it. And it took a couple of years for me to get around to it, but I finally did last year, and it was just really, really cool. And now Crooked's actually playing through the game as well, because he saw me play it as well. So it's really cool when stuff like that can happen. But yeah, I think isn't there like a time travel thing involved in that game too? Because I remember hearing about that with Life is Strange. Order 1886 isn't worth full price given it's the length of a DLC-esque spin-off, i.e. Infamous, First Light, or Spider-Man Miles Morales, and can be 100%ed, according to Google, within 10.5 hours. So very, very short then. That was also a game, wasn't it, that was kind of like a launch title? Or maybe not just necessarily a launch title, but a quote unquote next gen, because it's obviously past gen now, but wasn't that like supposed to be a next gen? Is it, oh my god, you want to see that at Saint? Oh, there's a pig full of tattoos walking around Ravensthorpe. Huh, I didn't know about that Saint either. The local tattoo artist was practicing new tattoos on little pink piggies because their skin was similar to human canvas. Oink oink. Sage, but the catch is the protagonist has the ability. Sorry. Yeah, has the ability to rewind time, but with the consequences every time you rewind time. I had to scroll back up to see what had been put in chat, and that part about the time travel wasn't on the part of the screen that I'd scrolled up to yet. But thanks for answering about the time travel part. But the story can be interesting at times when it's not being too predictable or cramming too much period piece elements in. The combat holds up decently as a cover shooter. Some weapons can be hard to find ammo for, but can be fun. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against trying it myself. It could end up being one of those games that I really do like and would play again, or it could be a one-off, one once it's done, never again kind of thing. But hey there, Saber. Good day to you. Thank you for joining the stream. How's things going for you? James, HD patch removed all local map textures in the game. Somebody make a mistake? Not too sure. Yeah, that's weird. Sometimes you just don't know why certain decisions get made like that. Saber, pretty good. Just woke up groggy today, so that wasn't fun. Still low energy, so may need to find something to boost your fuel. That's understandable, Saber, you know. I hope you can find something that will really help as well. And yeah, that is definitely a weird feeling, especially waking up like that too. A gun that shoots thermite sticky bombs and machine gun pellets. There's fun QTE boss fights involving knives versus claws, though it can get button mashy at times. However, there's certain enemies that are annoying. Certain enemies charge you out of the blue and are quick to retreat afterwards, giving you a short window to gun them down. Snipers are a pain, as per usual. I hate enemies that do that kind of shit. It is so freaking frustrating. Especially too if the game puts in things, not saying that it's in this game, but it makes me think of games where they put in stuff where the enemy gets a slight advantage because the game wants to show you something from a certain camera angle that you can't prevent from happening. And in the meantime, an enemy already gets some free shots on you. You know, stuff like that can be annoying. Hey there, Rave. Welcome on in. As Tom Brader crawls, he sees he suffers through a lot of dirty, all in his quest to find his next customer so he can braid his hair. The narrator. The continuing adventures of Tom Brader. Welcome, Ave. It's going really good, thank you. I'm working on this second Nevada level. When I finish this level, though, I'm going to actually end the stream, but I've made good progress today. I started the playthrough in my previous stream, got the first 4 levels done, and finishing this level now will give me 6 levels under my belt, so that'll be good to have made that progress on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I'll continue on from where I leave off here. But yeah, it's going really good. How about yourself? Zom, there's heavy-duty metal helmeted guards that use shotguns, grenades, and even the thermite guns against you, and they don't go down easy without a heavy-duty gun. Very annoying. Certain puzzles are decent, others are QTE based. So yeah, quite a mixed bag. But if you go just due to a third-person cover shooter with parts of the story and weapons that make you feel like a one-man army, and expecting a not very deep and definitely predictable, however interesting at times story, you'll enjoy it. That's the thing, like, even stories that are very predictable can still be enjoyable. I've found that with some stuff as well. But if I do get it, I definitely would probably wait until it was like on sale again. I mean, it's probably, by default, it's probably cheap now anyway. I bet you're doing good. Tired but still good. Work is done, and you'll be heading to a friend's for dinner. Just thought you'd drop in to say hi. Oh, that is awesome, Ave. Thank you so much for doing that too. Especially if you've got plans as well. I really hope that you enjoy your dinner and that you have a great time. Glad to hear that you're going good. Be a good feeling to be able to just, relax for the rest of the day and night now. There we go. Finally. Zom, it's only $20 in PSN right now. For a game from 2015, that's not way too shabby. This is true. That's a good price for it. Hey there, Ryu. How's it going, dude? James, okay, repair verified files, remove game folder. What the fuck is happening today? Must be a glitch in the Matrix, James. Ryu, nice scream, Lara. Try something like this. Yeah. Exactly. Should do like a replacement of audio with that. You going well, Ryu? That's excellent. That's good to hear, dude. That part there is really tricky because you got so much of the current strength actually pushing against you and trying to find the sort of like sweet spot to get Lara to be able to swim upwards before your oxygen runs out. Fun times. It's not lit up. But this always reminds me of the scene in Event Horizon where Weir, the main character played by Sam Neill, has to actually go in and do some maintenance in a part of the ship, and there's this really tight crawl space that he has to go through that has a similar color scheme. Absolutely, Lucas, yeah. When I finish this level, though, I'm going to end the stream, but it will be a productive stream day overall because in the previous stream earlier my time, I got the first 4 levels done, and I chose to do the Nevada levels next afterwards, and so this is the second level of those, so making good progress for the first stream day of this playthrough. Oh god, it does look like it. Tomb Raider, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, starring Mila Jovovich. No doubt. I'm sure that if he did do a Tomb Raider movie, that would be who he would cast. Lucas, you assume it's late there. Well, it's 11 past midnight, so it's actually Wednesday now, but my bedtime is 6 hours away. Between now and 6 hours away. Rue Miller as Lara Croft. But you feel Angelina truly nailed it. Oh, absolutely, you know. Um, yeah, I mean, there could have been other choices too that they could have chosen instead of Angelina Jolie as well. But I think she was good casting for that role. Absolutely, Wayne. Yeah. Sometimes stubbornly so as well. Ryu, Mila could work as a Mortal Kombat character, possibly Katana. Oh yeah, I know that your choice, if it was an alternate universe, was Jennifer Connelly, and I think she would have worked as well. James, you liked Angelina in Hackers movie. You even get a nice nip slip, but her role was awesomely played. That was actually the first movie I saw her in, and the next one was The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington, which it was very, very much in the same vein as the movie Seven. And I'd say Seven is definitely the better movie, but I also liked it. It's got an interesting kind of premise and sort of story as well. And it was around that time that that movie came out, and I saw it. That I saw on like the movie news sites that she had been cast as Lara Croft. So I'm speaking about good casting for a role. Did you see that meme that you posted? Not that I can remember. I'd have to actually go and have a look. Jennifer Connelly would have been great as Katana. You would have also liked Tia Carrera if they wanted a more Asian-looking actress like the recent games. Yeah. Actually, it's funny you mention Tia because she was in that Relic Hunter show, which is very much a Lara Croft-inspired series. James, damn, are you really that old? You have no idea who Jennifer is. I don't know if you remember seeing, if you ever saw the 2003 Hulk movie with Eric Bana as the Hulk. She was in that as Betty Ross. I mean, she's been in heaps of stuff ever since she was a child actress as well. Like, she was in a couple of sort of like fantasy / horror movies as well. So you've not seen The Bone Collector, but have seen Seven. You're being lazy with the name. Oh, I don't blame you. I mean, it still fits as well. But yeah, definitely recommend The Bone Collector. Just go in not expecting, like reinvention of the wheel or something, but I thought it was quite good. That's right, you. Yep, Labyrinth with David Bowie, The Rocketeer. That's right, she was in that movie too. Yeah. So well, it's a combo pick that has Chris Rock as Peeves, the Poltergeist. Oh no, I definitely didn't see that then. That was in Discord, wasn't it? I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, James, I really like that movie a lot. It's funny though because like that movie originally, the studio wanted to go with a different ending. But I think what happened was the original ending in one of the early drafts is the ending that we ultimately got. But in one of the other drafts, they went with a different ending. But there was a mix-up, and so David Fincher and Brad Pitt read the other script that had that ending, and they were like, we want to do this ending, the movie with this ending, So I'm glad that they ended up doing that ending, because, I mean, for the character, it's definitely not a good ending, but I mean, in terms of like a holy shit moment for an ending, it's definitely good. What's in the box? So that is what Peeves looks like in Hogwarts Legacy, I assume, Zomb. With the blue hat and everything. It reminds me of the Mad Hatter, actually. I don't know. I mean, Chris Rock has played every video game character born. Just kidding. He hasn't. Not yet, no. Chris Pratt as Duke Nukem. Chris Pratt as Lara Croft. Chris Pratt as Mario. Oh, wait. City, which was directed by Alex Proyas. Alex definitely went the way of Paul W.S. Anderson. Great visual director, but his best work is his first two Hollywood flicks. That Dark City was actually quite an interesting movie, and it had Melissa George in it as well, who was an Australian actress that was on one of our homegrown soapy shows, Home and Away. She was actually in the show the same time the actor who plays Mouse in the Matrix movie was actually on the show as well. So, but people have suggested The Labyrinth and a Tim Curry movie. Crap, forgot the name. It could be Legend, like Ryu suggested. It could be Legend. There was also uh, oh, what's the friggin' name of it? I just had the title, but then I forgot it. It's kind of like a musical. I can't remember the name of it. That's it. Yeah, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's it, Saber. Yeah. Oh yeah, James. That's no trouble at all, dude. Really hope that things go well. Thanks for popping in. Hope you have a good one. Ryu, Chris Pratt as Ryu, and as Ken, the blonde Ryu. Is he, wait, now you got to play Hogwarts Legacy, you love Peeves? One of those, very mischievous characters that really, really, can annoy. Well, I'm glad you had fun, James, with the stream. That's always good to hear. I hope that you have a good one. So it makes perfect sense to have Chris Pratt play Peeves, as both are loudmouths who can be considered quite annoying to listen to. That reminds me of the part in Army of Darkness where King Arthur says to Ash, "Are all men from the future loudmouth braggarts?" And then Ash is like, "Nope, just me, baby, just me." Say Rocky Horror Picture Show, if that's correct. Yeah, I haven't actually seen that. View Alex Proyas's best film to you was The Crow. It is such a good movie, that one. You remember Boss Logic did a fan art of Chris Pratt as Johnny Cage? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that would have gone if that was actually the casting. Oh, sorry, Zomb. Chris Rock. Sorry, we were talking to... I didn't actually realize. I was just, I just saw the name Chris and I was like, oh yeah. Ryu Chris Tucker. Another really cool actor. So everybody of yours would play one of the songs at the pub from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that just become so iconic and can last for a long time too. Ryu, you actually have Brandon Lee as an influence for Liu Kang too? Oh yeah. Man, imagine if he actually did play Liu Kang if he lived. That's it, Saber. Yeah, Time Warp. I'd forgotten the name of that too, as well. It's cool though when you do find a song that you've been trying to think of the name of. Ryu, it would have been fitting considering Liu Kang is based on his father. Absolutely. What a way to do like a referencing, but also like an honoring as well. Hey there, Aura. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Oh wait, wrong line. Welcome on in, Aura. How's things going for you today? It's so funny. I think in the game Banjo-Kazooie, the witch, the sound that they have her make for her dialogue, I think is or something like that. I think, or maybe I'm mixing it up with some other character in that game. Okay, now we're going to be finally able to get some weapons back for Lara. Plus, we get a weapon that you don't get before this level. I don't think anyway, unless you do one of the other locations first, but I do Nevada first. Alright. Desert Eagle. I like to save these for the final boss of the game, so most likely you'll see me very rarely use this Desert Eagle. I can't remember now, I think it's 50 ammo that you need for the final boss. I think it's 5 lots of 10 shots each for the boss as you get each artifact once he's been stunned. But yeah, I won't use this that very often. or regular level to games with no soundtrack and all the sound effects can definitely really create a really cool vibe. And having a character explore these places on their own and hearing just like footsteps can really create a creepy atmosphere.
No.
Oh, that's good, Zom. You decided to relax. Sorry, there's just so many loud noises in this game at the moment. It's ruining my ability to concentrate on what I'm actually saying. So I'll just go to this screen. You decided to relax with one of your favorite puzzle games, Super Liminal. I never actually played that. I think I might have heard of it before as well. So what kind of puzzle are we talking? Are we talking sort of like a flat board and you have to sort of like figure out where pieces go? Or is it kind of like you've got to move something around in 3D to try and figure it out? Or when shooting dead bodies since Tom Brady, 1998. Tom Brady. Wonder what the next Tom Brady game is going to be called. Or even the 1998 game had a photo mode. Insane. It didn't, or a no. Just for this version, the remaster. Yeah, I'm playing the remastered version. And for my annual playthrough, I wanted to keep the old school graphics for it. So that's why I'm still able to use photo mode. Bots are mosquitoes. They really, really are. You're not wrong there. They're just so annoying. Zombits dream logic perspective. Okay. They can be quite tricky sometimes. But that's good that it's a game that you can actually relax with too. Yeah, Aura. It is really handy too because you can double check to see if you've collected things that you might have otherwise missed. Also sorting out your plan for which direction you need to go and stuff. Lara, why you... Jesus fucking Christ, Rod. I was trying to get her to aim at the enemy that's running around like a fucking chicken with its damn fucking head cut off. Wish we could cut his fucking head off, so he would be running around like a chicken with his fucking head cut off. There we go. But the level is almost finished. Lizzie, getting to energy to clean out your closet, only to basically give up halfway through due to your body starting to act up and everyone is asleep so nobody can help you. That's definitely would be frustrating, Lizzie. You know, the thing about that is, as much as it might feel frustrating to only have given, you know, a little bit of time to doing it, at least you've done something towards it, you know. So it's very easy for, you know, bashing ourselves over the head because we feel like we haven't done enough or that we need to, you know, keep pushing. But if we can't, then there's something, you know, negative about that, you know. But hopefully, you know, things can get better for you today soon. But yeah, you know, at least you've done something towards it, you know, and trying to sort of divide things into small or smaller sort of things to do. Like looking at something and seeing that there's like if you're cleaning out your drawers or something, like if there's 10 drawers, you might be like, oh man, I got 10 to go through and clean. But if you just go, right, I'm going to do the first two and then do that, just in this example, you know, and then be like, that's good enough for now, you know, and then come back to it later as well. But yeah, like when you feel like you need to stop doing something, you know, definitely try not to be too hard on yourself that you need to. You know, it's better to take the time to wait until you can do more later than it is to overdo yourself. So the end of the level is right in there, but there's some things I want to collect first. After all that, Lara is going to have a drink.
Okay, see ya.
And as Lara was drinking something, I was too, because I needed to drink as well. What I'm going to do is let the start of the next level play, just so I can quickly save it, because I want to be able to get to an enemy before they trigger something that closes off an area that I want to have open, because there's a weapon that I want to get. And this is where I'm going to actually call it a stream as well. So we'll go back to the main menu. But there is more Lara Croft on the channel this week, because Monday through to Thursdays are my Tomb Raider stream days. So the next stream of this will be when it's Wednesday for me. So if you see me streaming this game again, you know it's become Wednesday here in Australia. The plan tomorrow will be to try and get not only the rest of the Nevada levels done, which I definitely can, because I'll be doing a stream uninterrupted without a break in between like I did today on Tuesdays. So I want to get the rest of the Nevada levels done, and then when I've done that, there'll be a channel point redeem I'll activate, where the first person who redeems it gets to decide whether we do the London levels next after the Nevada stuff, or if we do the South Pacific Islands next as well. But that is where I will call it a stream. Lizzie, now you have a bunch of shirts on your bed and you can't lay down. They'll definitely be, so frustrating, Lizzie. I can't imagine, the sort of like frustration and stuff. Or Lara needs a drink for real. The square body, impossible beauty standard strike again. Especially because if you see, like, her waist, when she moves, acts like it's on a swivel separate to the rest of her body. Is probably the best way I can explain it. It looks pretty freaky too when you see, like, it looks like, like Lego pieces, when you pull the Lego person apart. It just sort of has that sort of feel about it. She deserves a drink, honestly. Absolutely, all the running around, climbing, jumping, doing somersaults. No worries at all for the stream, Aura. Thank you for being here as well. No worries, Wayne. Have a nice chill for yourself for the rest of the night. I definitely will. Hope that you have a good one too. Thank you, Zomb. You have a great rest of your day as well. Ah, cool. Someone is streaming that I very rarely get to raid, and it's Levy. Pretty Leviathan is streaming Night in the Woods. So we'll go and raid Levy. Before I do that, though, just want to give some shout-outs. Thank you, Zom, for redeeming the random horror movie quote. Okay, so I've got a horror movie quote. Do I need a reason? Mr. Kupfer was right, you know. I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. But there's a better reason. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting, in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in, to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, when the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices? It was part of our world, our craft, witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, you know. The planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And Happy Halloween. That's from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which is actually it was intended to be the beginning of an anthology series using the title Halloween, and each movie was going to be its own story. But because it didn't do too well, the studio and producers decided that they wanted to go back to Michael Myers and all that, so the rest is history. But yeah, that's from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Thanks for redeeming that, Zom. I'd like to highly recommend people check out the following streamers. Crocodiles, who is doing some Rise, Son of Rome. He's also playing through Disco Elysium for his first time. Shitterlock is playing the casting of Frank Stone when it is available to play. He's also a big fan of the Dark Pictures series of horror games. Inmita is doing a playthrough of Skyrim. He's also been doing a playthrough of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order as well as Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Bethamphetamine is also highly recommended. They were doing some Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered as well. Mr. Gote is a streamer of games like Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, as well as Outlast, the Dead Space series, and Elden Ring. So definitely recommend checking out all those streamers if you haven't before. Zom nice. Halloween 3, Silver Shamrock, happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Yeah, that was actually quite a catchy sort of like song in that movie. But yeah, I actually like that one. The soundtrack is really cool, especially the opening theme by John Carpenter. It was just so good, that really cool 80s synth goodness. See you, Dr. Darling. Catch you next time. Halloween 3 is really fun. It is. Yeah, it's a shame that they didn't start to do an anthology series. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if we only had 2 Halloween movies. So that would have been good. We're going to go and raid out to Pretty Leviathan, who's playing Night in the Woods. Here's a general raid message that people can feel free to copy and paste. And I've also got one for